Hello, Nikolai Markovich from Echolaketech Technologies, echolaketech.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Bubble's Rich Text Editor plugin, which gives you a nice opportunity to add some rich text into your Bubble app. But first, please subscribe to my channel to get notified of future videos. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up so that I know that you like it or not. And let's just jump right in here to a demo. So, hello world, how are you? And what you can do here is you can go and underline or change colors and so forth, and then create a, I've got a field in here for a test hello, like that. And I've got a repeating group over here so we can see what it is, and I put a little space in there, and then I can update it. So if I go to a different one here, I can come back and then I can keep on adding additional items in there. Here, have a good day. And I can remove the underline, maybe make it an italic, and then maybe make it a different color here and update it just like that. So I've got a couple of other ones in here, but I think you get the idea of what this rich text editor can do. So let's get into the design of it. And basically all I have here is a group for type of content is rich text examples, and over here on the data, so I've got rich text examples. So for creating a type, just come down here, and this is how you can create a new data type. And so for this one, it's rich text examples. And then over here, I've got two fields. One is for the text itself of type text, and the other is the title of the text. So again, to go and show you how to do this, of type text, just like that. So it's a pretty simple data structure for this. And so for this group here, I've got it as rich text examples, and then here is the rich text input element itself. And to get the element, come over to plugins, so rich text editor. If you go into add plugins, rich text editor, so it's this one right here by Bubble, and they have this other one in here. I don't know if Bubble team is making some updates or something or another, or testing things out, but this is the one you want to pick up here, the one with the over 1900 apps by Bubble. So use that one. And then basically over here under input form, so over on the left hand side for the elements, it shows up here rich text element, or rich text input right there, just to show you quickly. I'm going to remove that. And then basically all I have in here is it's pretty much just the generic default settings on here. The one thing I do have is there's a repeating group, which I'll get to in a moment, that shows all the different templates that I've created. And I basically use that repeating group to send data to the group and then show it into the rich text input here. So it's basically going to be the parent group, rich text examples, rich text example. So group rich text, so examples rich text group is all I'm going to do here. And that basically will show what the default value is from the that I've saved in the database. And the other thing to note on here is style complexity. So the default is full. You have medium, so that basically has fewer rich text options available to you, and then basic, which is even fewer. So I just switch it back here to full. The other thing I have on here is this input, just a simple input field right here that I use for capturing the name of this template. And then the other thing I have here is these 3 buttons. So I've got a create button. Take a look at that workflow. And basically the first step here is to create a new rich text example. And then if you remember from the database, we have rich text example and rich text title. So we're just basically taking the input value, the rich text inputs value, and the input text value. So I kind of quickly show you here, rich text example, and then rich text input A's value, like that. And then the other thing is rich text title, input text, just like that. And then afterwards I do a reset for the text input. And so for that one, under element actions, reset rich text inputs, like that. And what that does is it basically clears the input after you've made the save, or I should say the create. And then I reset the group. And the reason why I do the reset of the group is because I have this input here. And after I create, I want to reset the input on that so it gets blanked out. So basically the workflow, again, create it, reset the input for the rich text input plugin, or the element I should say, and the input here as well. For updating, and basically here we're taking the parent group rich text example, and we're just simply those 2 data fields, we're just updating them with the values from the rich text input or the that input for the name. And that's all we're doing for that. And then I also, so one of the things that I use, there's 2 uses I have for this plugin in my apps. One is sometimes I'll be adding content into my app, and as part of the content I have a text field. And so what I'll use is I have an admin page, for instance, and I will have this rich text input. And what I'll do with it is I'll go and I'll make edits into it, and I can put hyperlinks into it, and so on and so forth. And then I can save it, and then it'll be associated to other offers that I have in some of my apps that I've created. So that's one use case. The other use case, which I'll get to here, is for emailing. And so what I've got here in this workflow is send an email, and I'm just sending it to myself. This can be a dynamic value. It's under name here. Again, can be a dynamic value, and the subject can be dynamic as well. And then what I have here is hello, and then the current user's first name. And then what I've done here is I've put in the rich text example. And let me just kind of show you here what that looks like, because I have, so this is actually an email that I sent to myself. And so hello Joe, so Joe being the dynamic value, so it can be the name of the user in your app. And then just some text fields, some different examples here with a link. And I also included a picture in the email. So let me just run back over here for a moment, do a refresh, and I'm going to show you that example. So it's this one here, number 4. So you can see this is the actual text that I sent in the email. So this is an example. I've got these red text here, red italics, got the image and so forth. So I can do all of this within the editor. And just to go back to the email, so this was the email that I sent. So again, hello Joe, with Joe being that dynamic value. Let me go over to the workflow. So hello, current user's first name. And so that's another use case that I have in some of my apps, where I can actually use the text editor to go and create some rich edits, rich text, and send them to my users. So that's another use case. Let me get over here just kind of quickly to wrap this up with the repeating group over here on the right hand side. So the repeating group is pretty simple. If you're not familiar with getting repeating group, it is right here, repeating group, like that. And then what I have here is rich text examples, because that's the type of content that we have here. And then I just do a simple search for all the rich text examples that I have in my database, and I haven't changed anything else in terms of the setup here. Within the repeating group, so for this cell here, I have a simple text field, and it just shows the current cells, the rich text examples, rich text title. So I just put the title in there. And just if you're not familiar, let me put the text here. So insert dynamic. So current cells, rich text examples, text title. So that's all I've done for that. Now one thing I do also is this does have a workflow. And so when you click on that text field, I want it to display into the rich text, that group, the rich text group, rich text, and I want to send the data I want to send to that is the current cell's rich text examples. So to get to that, elements, display data, group, rich text, current cells, and that's as simple as that. So this is important because from the repeating group, you need to send the data for that cell from the cell here to this group, so that this group now has rich text example data in it. And then here, I can take the parent group's rich text example, rich text example. It's kind of redundant a little bit, but that's just the way I had it set up. So rich text example, so then that data will show up here every time I click one of these text fields, just like that. The other thing I have in here is the little trash can for deleting. It's just simply, I gotta refresh first. And I'll just delete this one, I'll delete that one, number 3, delete. So that one is gone. And just to wrap it up here, that it's just a simple, so just to delete current cells example. So to get that one, data, delete a thing, just like that. So that's how you delete that current cells from the database. And that is basically it. It's a very nice little plugin from the Bubble team. I've been using it for a little while. The Bubble team has been great, so I found a couple issues along the way. This is, I think, a relatively newer plugin. So we reported some bugs to them, and they've been super quick in turning around fixes. So kudos to the Bubble team on that. Try this out, the plugin. I think you'll like it. Again, it's nice for creating templates. If you are going to be sending custom emails out and you want to have a bit more color in your emails, or if you are going to be saving templates, so if you have an app where you want to save different types of templates, you can call upon those templates from your database, and as you saw, you can have dynamic data in here as well to customize it a bit for your customers. So try it out. It's a pretty cool plugin. And again, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.